We've talked about how the BYU football team has a lot of holes to fill. A couple of new positions that people are going to have to get used to on the team. New offensive line coach coming in this year. They're also going to have on the special teams a new kicker and a new punter. So, Brandon, which of those two areas is more important for the team?
Well, most years I'd say offensive line coach without hesitation. I mean, kicker, come on. But last year, you look at last year, the two losses they had, you could make a very good argument that if they had a strong kicker and deep snapper, I want to put deep snapper in that occasion, they would have won those games. This year, they're going to have to replace all three positions. All three of them are gone. Deep snapper, they got Brett Denny competing with a walk-on, John Pace. And they got Mitch Payne that's going to handle both the kicking and punting responsibilities, and he's got a lot of work to do. And if BYU is going to be successful on special teams again. Of course, offensive line is huge. But what Coach Weber's inheriting is a very experienced offensive line where Coach Grimes really brought up the depth and overall talent of the program. So this year specifically, I think it's kickers and punters. Overall, it's obviously the offensive line coach.
So you're giving both answers.
Yeah, absolutely.
I talked to Coach Mark Weber yesterday, the new offensive line coach. And he was very complimentary of the players and of Coach Grimes, who had left to go to Colorado. I think Coach Grimes walked that fine line between being a good friend to the players and being their boss, because I saw him get into it with Jay Caressa a couple of times where I thought they were going to come to blows.
Oh, yeah.
But he also was a good guy. They trusted him. They believed in him. And that's tough for a coach coming in initially to gain that trust of these guys, because they don't know Mark Weber from Adam. I mean, they heard about him, but they don't know him, and they have to get to know him. The spring is going to be important for that. I think that's a pretty important position because that offensive line is experienced. They do have some talent coming back, but that's still got to mesh. Those five guys have to work together, and it's very instrumental for that coach to be part of that.
Which is why I agree. I think that the offensive line coach is far more important, because you're dealing with a group of guys that protects. Basically, they're the wall of defense for that offense. If that front line of defense breaks down, like in that commercial about your kidneys, I think it was Bronco Mendenhall did. If it breaks down, then all of a sudden what happens?
You watch too much TV.
Well, you know, if it breaks down, then what happens? Your offense is gonna flutter. And so the offensive line coach definitely is the key. It was a key hire for Bronco Mendenhall. Although I know that you want to go with the deep snapper, maybe go both ways.
Just for this year.
Well, yeah. Well, I understand. And BYU 2 years ago did offer scholarship offer for a deep snapper, because they felt that, what was it, 2 years ago, they had two plays that if the snap had been right, they might have had a better record. Maybe Coach Croton or somebody could have still been here. Who knows? But yeah, offensive line coach, I think, is definitely the answer to this one.
You could argue that the offensive line coach is the most important position coach on the entire staff. Just with what he has to work with, he has to work with more players, and the offensive line is absolutely
I'll let you
essential.
tell that to Coach Kafusi and
Coach Hill.
Coach Hill. You can tell that they're not as important as the offensive line.
You're not as important.
It is a bit different situation because you bring in a kicker or a punter, you recruit. You have to make a hire on the offensive line coach, so they are in different categories. But I think that you guys are right; they're both very important to the team this year.
BYU thinks so as well. Yeah, absolutely.